Hey everyone, hope you are well. Thank you so much for choosing to watch this video. I was fortunate enough to sit down with former Liverpool legend, cult hero, I'll let you decide, Gary McAllister, and we spoke about Trent Alexander-Arnold and potentially moving into midfield, Liverpool's midfield rebuild, and of course, just the future of the Reds. Hope you enjoy. It's been quite a rebuild, let's say, in terms of the midfield. In particular, obviously, you were a former midfielder. I mean, what have you made of Liverpool's new look midfield, if you like? And I guess the big change from, Jordan Henderson, Fabinho, James Milner was a big change. A lot of experience went out of the side, and these new lads have come in and a bit inconsistent, would it be fair to say?
Well, I think on arrival, obviously, we knew McAllister. Szoboszlai was a bit of a left field one because, I'd heard of the name, but hadn't really seen a great deal of him. Gravenberch came up later on, and Endo coming in later on as well. So I think the four of them aligned, with Harvey Elliott as well. I think there's a nice dynamic there. And I think, to begin with, I thought Szoboszlai came out the traps unbelievably well. I was at pre-season in Singapore, and there was a game against, obviously, Bayern Munich, and we played Leicester City as well. You could see that he'd settled in very, very quickly. On the McAllister side of things, probably because we didn't really have a natural number six, and him having to play just in front of the centre halves, not a familiar position for him. And I think it took the arrival of Gravenberch and Endo to allow him to go further forward. Yeah. And I think the four of them have been success. They've added energy, there's goals, there's a pass, there's an eye for a pass. There's definitely athleticism in there as well. So I think they're ticking a lot of boxes, and it's been a great transition for the club, to be fair. Yeah,
it certainly has. I think we're looking ahead to next season, the future, in good shape, really, because you're right. I think there's a little bit of everything in that midfield. One thing I did want to pick up on with you, and you mentioned McAllister there, and he could be the answer to this question, but I mentioned some of the midfielders that left, and there was real leadership amongst that. There was real, I'm going to be the one to drag us through a little bit. Does this midfield need a little bit of that, would you say?
Yeah, and I think, he's obviously an experienced player. He's played at Brighton, and he's played in our league, and he's now got a season under his belt. He's obviously a World Cup winner. And I just think the fact that he's scored a couple of fantastic goals. And I think in some of the tight games when we were still involved, and when it was still talking about quadruples and trebles, he was coming up with some amazing passes and moments in matches when you needed some. So I think he will become a natural leader. He's somebody, I think he's taken that upon it himself. He's not captain the side, but he's starting to lead and lead things in the middle of the park.
No, I think he's got them qualities as well, and I want to see that come out of him. I guess first season, it would be some statement to come in and be that leader immediately. It would have been brilliant if he did, of course, but I do think maybe second, even into the back end of the second season, we could see more of that from him.
But also, I think the captain has led really well this season as well. I think he's an outstanding. But my eye is like you. I was intrigued, and my eyes always. I played in the middle of the park, so my eyes always drawn there. And I think the permutations of worked. It's definitely been visual. Then McAllister's been just released a wee bit more forward, and then he's closer to the opponent's goal, that he's got an eye for, he can see a pass. And I think he's capable of scoring from 20, 30 yards, as is Szoboszlai. He's not shy of having a shot either. No. And I think he'll kick on again. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Speaking of not shy of having a shot, I'm going to talk about free kicks a little bit. I mean, legendary free kick taken next to me, certainly at Goodison Park. Trent Alexander-Arnold, genius with the ball at his feet. You were a great technician. You struck a ball beautifully, but have you ever seen anything like Trent, really? I mean, Gerrard, obviously, but other than that, he's pretty special. You're right at the top of world football with Trent, as far as I'm concerned. As much as, I think we've seen Trent, when Mo was sort of playing inside the pitch, and Trent was getting really high, wide up on the right. It sort of changed slightly with Mo giving a bit of width up on that side, and Trent's just been pushed into the middle of the park. And I think we can see once he's in there in the middle of the park, just sat in front of the two centre halves, his range of passes he's hit some unbelievable passes this season. Been at quite a lot of games, home and away, but then dead balls as well. He's always been good with dead balls, but set pieces and deliveries into the box. But I think this ability to have to be able to go high and wide, or just playing in front, I think it'll bode well for him, because I think the national team, England's national team, look to maybe do the same similar thing, and Kyle Walker does it at Man City. So between the pair of them, England are well suited.
Yeah, they certainly are, yeah. What do you make of the whole Trent midfielder stuff then? You touched upon it there. It's been an old age sort of conversation now and question, really, because he has all the attributes, but do you see a future for him in the middle of the park?
Well, I think he's shown he's very, very capable, but then you lose his ability, from the sides to deliver balls into the box for the forwards, who must, you can see them licking their lips when Trent gets the ball high up the pitch in a wide area, because his delivery into the box is pretty special. So I think it's just another string to his bow.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. I mean, you were one of the greatest free transfers Liverpool have ever managed to execute. I mean, yourself, James Milner, Matip, I mean, we've done well in that market, it feels like.
Well, and I think it's still a market, I'm sure, Michael and all the new recruitment staff they'll be all over that. Listen, it's always a bonus when you can get somebody who comes in and plays X amount of games and produces a consistency of performance. He's been outstanding as well. Right through from his arriving. And James Milner was very similar as well.
Yeah. Just on the team, then you touched upon it there, leaving us in a better place and not a full rebuild needed, which I agree with. Do you think it is just a case of some fine tuning? We can improve defensively, perhaps, maybe a position here and there, but just getting a little bit more out of some of them.
I think, like always, when anybody that becomes available, Liverpool should be there, and I think that's something that they've done over the years. They should be competing to bring the very, very best. So if it's a specialised position, or whether it's defence, midfield or forward, if there's one that becomes available and it can make us better, make Liverpool better, they've got to be there, and I'm sure they will be.
No, 100%. And just finally, you've obviously worked in around a number of football clubs. You've seen youngsters progress. I mean, the story of the season really has been Liverpool's youngsters. How impressive have they been?
Well, the one that jumps out to me is Conor Bradley. Has been unbelievable, and I think the 4 against Chelsea was the night that he properly arrived. He had assists and he scored as well, and I think that was a moment you've seen a young player go, you know what, I belong here. I can cope with this. I can cope with the demands of this club, the expectation, and he's been amazing. And then obviously the substitutions at the Carabao Cup final. I was there. When Chelsea were warming up 150 million quid's worth of transfers, and Liverpool were putting basically 3 18-year-olds on. It was, and then the crowd reacted to that. That was very special. Now the youngsters, every single one of them, when they've been asked to come on, and whether it be 5 minutes or be thrown in at the start of the game, I can't remember one of them struggling.
No, absolutely.
They've enjoyed it, and they've really risen to the challenge.
100% they have, and a little bit more, yeah, absolutely. Gary, absolute pleasure speaking to me. Thank you so much for your time. Top man, thank you very much.